on our journey here to become the world's best VTuber in the state of Illinois, we have made some questionable decisions. I think this one is one of them. We let chat choose some tier lists, and this is the result. Top 50 whores in need of my cock is a fantastic video title. That is maybe a peak. That may be a peak title. I will probably change whores, and I will probably bleep out cock. Female video game characters playable only. Chat, I don't know who most of these women are. I don't know who most of these women are, but the ones that I do know are not of age. Skimming through here, a lot of people who are not over 18. Ranking video game heroes by how many war crimes they've committed according to a Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention. They meet every year. I'm not sure, like that's a good idea. I like that video idea, but I would have to look up what war crimes are. History's worst people by how cute they'd be as cats. Top 50 ideas from Chat GPT. Chat, these are your ideas are getting worse. Your idea to trust chat was the worst idea. Always. Trusting chat's always a bad idea. Here, yeah, we'll do the Castlevania tier list. Vox, what were you thinking? Sub weapons? I'm the only sub weapon here. I have, as you may know, opinions about Castlevania. We just recently did Castlevania month, and I have opinions. So if you disagree with me, you can always leave a comment and yell at me. But I don't think you have the balls, chat. All right, so Portrait of Ruin is S. Portrait of Ruin's peak. Symphony of the Night also S tier. I think this is which one is that? I can't. Aria of the Sorrow, Aria of the Sorrow was a solid A tier. It wasn't as good as Symphony of the Night, but it was really good. Dracula X is garbage. Dracula X is hot garbage. I haven't played Castlevania in a long time, but I remember liking it. I do remember liking that one. We didn't play the original Haunted Castle. We didn't play Vampire Killer. We haven't played Circle of the Moon yet. I haven't played Legacy of Darkness. Harmony of Dissonance, we didn't play that one. Curse of Darkness, I unfortunately do have to put it in like B tier. I just don't feel like going back to it. It was as cool as the other one on the PS2 that I think is this one. I think this one's the one where he plays the twink, and that's S tier. That was peak video gaming. That was peak. Why isn't there an F category? I don't need more categories. This is actually good. I like these. I like these categories. Was that the first or second PS1? This is the second PS1 one where you play, where you can fight against Richter, and this is the first one where I really enjoyed it top to bottom. The most frustrating thing about this game was the secret boss fight that we had to cheat a little bit. Did I say PS1? Yeah, the PS2. Order of Ecclesia is hot garbage. I hated Order of Ecclesia. The first Castlevania game is actually really bad. Chat, there's so many good ways to play Castlevania. The first Castlevania game just isn't very good. Castlevania Legends is also bad. Let's see. Oh, Harmony of Despair, I think will get a solid B tier. It was fun. We played it for a very little while, and it was a fun game. I loved it. I quite liked the game. Dracula X Chronicles was pretty good. I'm gonna give that A tier. Nah, it gets B tier. You know, I didn't love it. We didn't play Lords of Shadow. We didn't play Lords of Shadow 2. Belmont's Revenge, A tier. It's the bad. I would go back and play Belmont's Revenge. I think Belmont's Revenge, I would go back and play it for sure. We didn't play this one. Haunted Castle Revisited, S tier. I loved it. I loved my time with it. Belmont's Revenge, SNES. Belmont's Revenge is the Game Boy Advance one. No, the fucking Game Boy one. The Adventure Rebirth, A tier. Also, I very much enjoyed the Adventure Rebirth. The only reason we didn't beat it is because I went back to the main menu and I didn't realize I couldn't go back to like play it again. Simon's Quest is A tier. I'm very interested to play Simon's Quest again. I liked it quite a bit. The Adventure is C tier. See, the Adventure is bad. It was not a good game. I will put Dracula's Curse as B, although I didn't like it. I did not care much for Dracula's Curse. I know that's a controversial statement. We didn't play the original Rondo of Blood because I was told specifically to play Dracula X Chronicles, as it is better. Grimoire of Souls is a mobile game you can't play anymore. I think this is the board game, Castlevania the Arcade, which we also have not played, but I would love to sometime. It's a light gun game, chat, that you play with the whip. Like, how cool is that? Super Castlevania 4 is S tier. It's peak. Let's see. We didn't play this version of Kid Dracula, but we did play Kid Dracula, and I would like to put it in B tier. It's actually a C tier game. It was the first one that made me incredibly angry. I don't remember Castlevania Chronicles or Bloodlines, chat. I'm gonna put them both in B tier as just being like not memorable. They were fine, I enjoyed them, but they weren't like memorable. Castlevania Judgment, however, I loved as a kid, and we may not have played it on stream, but it is A tier. So we have in our S tier Portrait of Ruin, Symphony of the Night. I think that's Lament of Innocence, Haunted Castle Revisited, and 4. I would recommend those games to anybody who wants to play a Castlevania game any day of the week. And if they enjoy them, I would send them to the A tier and the B tier. All right, so chat. You ever been in like the war zone of like Battlefield 5 and you wanted to use your game console to defend against bullets? Well, I hope so, because we're going to be ranking them by how effective they would be at stopping a bullet. Now, I think the 3DO is pretty large. A lot of people don't know about the 3DO. It's a console made by Panasonic. It kind of flopped. It's got some of my favorite games on it. Most of them have imported to the PlayStation 1, so you might have actually played some of the games that were on the 3DO. Unfortunately, it's made of plastic, so I think that's going to go F tier. Now, the original Atari is kind of small. Actually, all the Ataris are pretty tiny, but they are plastic, so they're actually all going to go in F tier. Now, the Philips CDI is kind of big, and it's got some like metal bits inside of it. So it potentially, if you were to strap it to your chest in a war zone, they have high caliber bullets that would go through the aluminum. The Amiga is relatively sizable, I suppose. Kind of between the Philips CDI and the Atari, but it's made of plastic, so it goes in F tier. The Fairchild Channel F Magnavox, I've never heard of before, but it looks gigantic. It would be like if you strapped a computer to your, like maybe a laptop to your chest, like a modern laptop. Unfortunately, it's made out of plastic and aluminum, so that's going to be F tier. The ColecoVision is pretty big too. I think if you strapped it to your chest, a bullet would go through it because it's made of plastic. I don't know what Nintendo console, this orange freak, the Nintendo Color TV. I don't know exactly what that is, but I would assume that if you strapped it to your chest and somebody shot you, it would probably not work because it's made of plastic. Now, a gaming computer is pretty big, and those aren't usually made of plastic. They're made of glass, so it actually like hurt you more because you'd have glass shattered inside of your body as well. That's going to go in F tier. The Sega Dreamcast and Nintendo GameCube are really tiny, so I don't think it would protect you very well. So that's going to be F tier. The Sega Genesis is probably, like, it could go over your chest if you have tiny boobs, but I think it's going to go F tier. The Mattel Hyper Poo is looks like a foldable console, so it's probably really, really tiny. And look, maybe you could think of it as like one of those like metal Bibles that they gave you. But I think I don't think it would really help you too much if it got shot because it's made of plastic. The Intellivision's huge, kind of maybe like the size of maybe like a backpack. But I think that it's made of plastic, so it's going to go in F tier. The Atari Jaguar, despite its name, I don't think it would help you too much because that bullet is still going to go as fast as a Jaguar, and I think that's going to be F tier. The Sega Master System as well, I think, would also suffer from the same issue as the Atari Jaguar. The N64 though is like kind of big enough to strap to your chest, and I think if you got it strapped to your chest and somebody shot it, it would kill you immediately because it's made of plastic. The SNK Neo Geo is maybe an interesting case here because it's kind of a normal size, but it's also just made of plastic, so that's F tier. The Nintendo Entertainment System is pretty thick and big, and if you've ever taken one of them apart, they've got like this big metal chassis in it. So you might think that if you strapped it to your chest and you're trying to use it as a bulletproof vest, it would help you. But unfortunately, that metal is aluminum and not like something that would be useful, so it's going to be an F tier. The Magnavox Odyssey and the Odyssey 2, I think, suffer from the same issue, and that is that they are made of plastic, so they're going to be F tier right there. The NEC PC FX, I think, is a good contender. Unfortunately, it would be kind of heavy and hefty, and it's made of plastic, so it's going to go into the F tier. The Sony PlayStation, while one of the best consoles, and it would be unfortunate to have it shot, especially if you have the model of the Sony PlayStation that works as a fantastic CD player if you hook up speakers to it. I do think it's made of plastic, and it's going to have to go in F tier. The Atari Pong is maybe the exception to the rule here. Unfortunately, its shape and size kind of dictates that it wouldn't be very good to like avoid damage, and also it's made of plastic, so it's going to go in F tier. The PlayStation 2 is the thick PlayStation 2. I believe that's not a thin model. I'm looking at one right now, and I'm thinking about it, and it's big enough. I think it would stop like the vital, unless you shot me in the stomach, it would stop the vital organs. It's not as big as like a Panasonic 3DO or the PlayStation 3, which is coming up next. I think unfortunately it's made of plastic, and it's going to have to go in F tier. And while the Sony PlayStation 3, if you do remember I believe it was the Air Force was trying to stitch a bunch of them together into a supercomputer, and it has value in a war zone, but not maybe as a bulletproof vest, so that's going to go D tier. The PS4 is big enough. It's very much big enough to work. However, it's still made of plastic, so I think it's going to have to go in F tier. The PlayStation 5, now, it doesn't have any games, but it is like this big, bulky, thick thing, and it's got some thick, hard plastic. If you ever taken one apart, it's got some thick, hard plastic there. Unfortunately, it's still plastic, so it's going to have to go in F tier. The Sega Saturn and the Sega SG-1000, I think, suffer from the same issue, which is that they were made by Sega in the 80s, and plastic from the 80s doesn't hold up as well as plastic from now. If you've ever like taken apart an NES, you've noticed like if you touch the wires, sometimes they'll just fall apart. And I think that's why they're gonna have to go into F tier. The Super Nintendo, while a very fun console, one of the best of all time, I do believe the Super Nintendo might not be big enough to really work as a like a bulletproof vest. And I think that's why I'm gonna have to put them in F tier. The Nintendo Switch is really tiny, and that screen is not thick enough to like do anything. I think you'd strap it to your chest and you'd end up not only with the bullet going all the way through, but computer components in the wound that would have to be like stripped out. And I don't think that would go very well. The ColecoVision is just way too small. There's no way the ColecoVision could ever work as an optional sort of thing. The Hudson Soft TurboGrafx 16 Mini also has the potential of being big enough and thick enough from the 80s, but it is made of plastic, so it's going to be F tier. The Nintendo Wii, looking at my Nintendo Wii, I'm thinking I don't know that it would like really protect me too much, because it's kind of compact. That was the cool thing about the Nintendo Wii. It was a tiny compact console, and also it's made of plastic, so it's going to go into F tier. The Wii U is an interesting contender, however, because the Wii U, you have both the screen and the console. So if you like strap the screen to your chest, you can put the console, like the console on your tummy, and then you have like a full suit of protection, but it is made of plastic, so it is going to have to go into F tier. The original Xbox would look very cool if you strapped it to your chest. You'd have like a big X on your chest and make you feel pretty cool about it. Unfortunately, this is about whether or not they'd make good bulletproof vests, and I don't think it would make a very good bulletproof vest because it is made of plastic. The Xbox Series X is like a giant, like a tower. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a pillar in your living room, and it gives it a lot of like depth that you have to like push through. I think like maybe potentially the bullet would go through, and that's because it's made of plastic. The Xbox One is one of my favorite Xbox consoles, believe it or not. I still use my day one 2013 Xbox controller, and I love the Kinect. I love being able to talk to my computer and turn it on. It made me feel like I was in the future, and it is kind of built like a big fuck off VCR. Unfortunately, it is made of plastic, so it's going to have to go into F tier. Let's go ahead and do this one real quick. Let's go ahead and do this ranking Weird Autumn chat members by their music tastes. Now, I'm gonna need some of your opinions on your music tastes because I don't know what they are. For instance, I have no idea what Rye is. Rye hasn't been in stream in such a long time. Oh boy, I like that you specified early. I will say for certain I can lock Kylie in as decent taste. 100% decent taste. 9 Inch Nails, Interpol, Breaking Benjamin. I don't think I'm into those. I wouldn't call it bad taste. I would actually bad taste, and I would say meh. I would say I'm indifferent is how I would say I feel about your musical taste, Sorrow. They're bad, they're fine. If they came on the radio or something, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But I wouldn't seek it out, if that makes sense. At Discord, I sent a vid that's a comp of should be canceled guitarist solos. Should that count? If it's in your top 3 or whatever. I think I like every song that Trashly has given me. I think I have enjoyed. I will put decent taste, although I do think you'll be like the bottom of the decent taste. You're bordering on meh because you like to listen to like harsh noise, and I'm not a big fan. I ain't a big fan of that. Millicent, Rye, they're not here, so neither is Official. Actively seek out terrible sounds. Bad taste? Who? For Trashly? I love staple tapeworms to your penis, and y'all cowards ain't even smoke crack. That shit's good. That shit's fun. I'm normally outsider music. I'm a metalhead and a boomer rock fan, but in my alone time, I'm a J-rock fan when they got good guitar. There's some good J-rock guitar. I will say that's decent taste. I will say that's decent taste for sure, because I love me some boomer. I love me some dad rock. I love me some dad rock, some Guitar Hero dad rock, and stuff. I will put Lamp in decent taste as well, because I've never heard anybody cop to liking nerdcore, and I love nerdcore. Nerdcore's one of my favorite things. Good night, Megumi. Hold on, Megumi? Do you want to be on this list? Do you want to give us three of your favorite bands or whatever? I like J-rock, especially when J-rock is like simultaneously with math rock. It's always pretty cool. I missed Vox's. What did Vox say? Walls 100 Gex Death Grips. Yeah, that's, you know, you're up here with us. You're up here with me and Jesh. I don't listen to Death Grips very much anymore. I love Wavs. I don't know if I'm pronouncing their name correctly, but I love Wavs. Fantastic band. And I love 100 Gex. Obviously, I styled my entire existence off of fucking Laura Less. So I think this is pretty good. I don't know what Millicent likes. I don't know what Official likes. I don't know what Rye likes. Just say Waves. Okay, Waves. I always thought it was Wavs because of the double A. Good choices though. Completely forgot to add Weird Al. Weird Al, yeah, I think you got decent taste. Honestly, I feel bad for putting Sorrow in Mac, because I'm not even against Sorrow's choices. I just wanted some variety. Shit. Weird Al does fuck. And I don't want to think about it.